Hey folks, how y'all doing? I'm Kurt Wiegel, this is Geeks, and today we're going to be talking about the second edition of the beloved and anticipated 7th Sea role-playing game. If you've not heard of this one before, I'm deeply sorry. The original edition came out in 1999 and quite frankly blew my socks off. This is a game of swashbuckling action, of piracy, of exploration, of intrigue, and it was a genre that I don't think has really been filled very well as we go through the role-playing history. Now, this is a fictional world that is essentially Europe with the serial numbers filed off. It is similar to, but legally distinct from, Europe as we know it. Nominally set in the year 1668, which roughly coincides to the 1668 that we have in our world, this is a colonial RPG. It's just a fun game. So, the continent of Thea, which is where the setting is essentially, as I mentioned, Europe. The countries you have in there and the people from those countries can have an option of magic if they choose. Magic is not forced upon you at all. It is just something you can choose from, and some of the options are really cool. Avalon is the England analog, and it consists of the English Isles, it's got Scotland, and it's got Ireland with the different names. Ireland is called Innismore, and Scotland is called the Highland Marches. The magic that you get in that is essentially you are imbued with the power of one of the mythical knights of that land. Think Arthurian legend. And with that, you have certain abilities that come with it. Now, once you are imbued with that power, it's yours. You have it until you die, and then it passes on as a mantle to someone else. So the queen in this land is sort of a combination of King Arthur and Elizabeth. Castile is faux Spain, not only ruled by a young king and fighting with the bureaucracy and with the Mattison church, which has relocated to Spain. This is where the Inquisition holds a lot of power. There's also a masked vigilante called El Vagabundo, who is essentially your Zorro analog for this game. Because the Inquisition is there, they frown on sorcery, so you don't have a native sorcery, but they do dabble in alchemy. Eisen is Germany, just after the 30 Years' War, with a healthy dose of the video game Witcher thrown in. Because of this war that raged across the land because of a schism in the church, the Mattison, or the Roman Catholic, and the Objectionists, or the Protestants. This war has brought up a lot of death and evil, and horrors now walk the land. The magic you have inherent there is hexenwork, which is catching a monster, killing a monster, and using its internal organs or other goodies to help you fight the forces of darkness. Montaigne is France just pre-revolution. The royalty and the nobles live high on the hog. The angry, surly peasants have nothing and are about to rise up in revolt. Their magic is probably the most icky, which is the nobles can rip holes in reality, screaming, bleeding holes for minor teleportation effects. The Sumerian Commonwealth is new to this edition. It is essentially Poland, in which recently, because the king has died, one of the issues was the king didn't have a whole lot of power because all the noble houses were scheming, and if you had a title, you were a noble house. So when the king died, he gave everyone a title, so now we have a democracy in that land. The magic here is Sandaris, which is essentially making deals with the devil, or a demon. Usura is Tsarist Russia. Baba Yaga gives powers to the sorcerers there, but for a price. I'm not even going to try it. Vestin Minyanar are the Vikings, and a combination of modern Denmark with the trading and the merchants, which has a good combination of rune magic and economics. Vodacce is the city-states of Italy, which used to be the home of the Mattison Church. The magic here are women control the fate threads, so the evil eye and predicting the future is very much real here. On top of that, you have the Mattison Church, which are the Roman Catholics, the Objectionists, which are the Lutherans, and a large number of secret societies, which your character can be a part of if you so choose. Now, let's get to the rules themselves. Character generation doesn't actually pop up until page 133 out of 300. The first 133 pages are all background information on the nations, the lands, and societies, etc. Character generation begins with the concept. You assign your attributes, your traits, which are brawn, finesse, resolve, wits, and panache. And then your nation, you pick your nation, you add to that. After that, you pick 2 backgrounds, which gives you some skills, rank 1 advantages. You then pick the rest of your skills, a handful of advantages, arcana if you so choose it, which come out of your advantages. Then you pick a story, which is your role-playing option here, which is actually kind of cool because you actually gain experience by role-playing through your stories, not by the number of brutes that you kill in a squad. with the skills that tie directly into how the system itself works. It is a dice pool game. meaning you add your trait and your skill and you roll a number of d10s. When you roll those d10s, you look for pairs or single pairs or multiple dice that add up to 10. If you go over 10, it still only counts as 1. Now, where the skills come into play is if you have a skill rank of 3, you can re-roll one of those dice. A skill rank of 4, dice that sum to 15, give you 2 of these successes, or as they're called in this game, raises. And finally, when you have 5 ranks in a skill, the 10s explode, meaning you can roll them again. So, whoever has the most raises in a scene goes first. And then your actions reduce the number of raises that you have. So what happens is if you have 7 raises and you have an action that reduces it to 5, if no one else has 5 raises, you get to go again. So that's how a scene in combat or a scene in a dramatic action works. You also have hero points on top of that, which allow you to add, which are really cool how this works. You either add a bonus d10 before you roll the trait dice, or if you use your hero die to help another player, they get 3 bonus d10s. Even if it's just moral support going, yeah, you can do it, they get 3 bonus d10s. So it's better to spend them to help your colleagues than it is on yourself. Some abilities also activate using the hero points, and you can also act while helpless. This is a rough schematic of the game. It is a ton of fun. The system is a little quirky and takes a little bit to wrap your brain around. This is not hack and slash Dungeons and Dragons. Your fight has a purpose. You get bonuses if you do dramatic things. One of the rules is if it's the first time in an encounter that you use a skill, you get a bonus die for it because you're doing something other than I swing my sword. I swing my sword again. Ha ha. You can jump onto the chandelier, slide across the table. All of these things give you a bonus die for your action. The GM is also told to liberally hand out bonus dice when you either roleplay something really well or give a really good description that adds to the scene. I love 7th Sea. I have from the first edition. I was very excited to see when the second edition came out, and then I got my grubby little hands on it. The only thing I feel like this book might be missing is a host of characters for you to fight, and some of the monsters that are in Ison. I'm hoping future supplements will have more characters, perhaps pre-generated characters, or villains for you to deal with. There are brute squads that are listed. I just would like a little bit more for what you throw against your players. I really love this book. I recommend you go out and get it if you're looking for an alternative to Dungeons & Dragons that allows you to just frankly have more fun with highly descriptive combat. Have a good time gaming, y'all.